Guys, so today it is Top 10 Wednesday, and as the title says, I am doing adult books. So let's get started. I got 10 books here to talk about, and these videos are long enough as they are. So in the 10th spot, might surprise you that I'm mentioning it, but I am going with Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith. Attack of the Clones is by R.A. Salvatore, and Revenge of the Sith is by Matthew Stover. Not all of the Star Wars movie books are good. These two are my favorite, although this one's very sad and dark. The titles for the chapters and the little moments where the narrator takes a step back and talks about darkness and light and stuff is amazing, and Attack of the Clones, much better than the movie. So good. I love both of them. These definitely had to make the list. Number 9 is Eye of the World by Robert Jordan, the first book in the Wheel of Time series. I've read this one as well as New Spring the novel. I'm currently stuck in book number 2, which is terrible. It's god awful. However, Eye of the World was very good. I read this in 2 or 3 days, despite it being over 600 pages in 10-point font. I mean, look at that. This book is huge. I really enjoy it. I think Robert Jordan is a good author. It's just that book 2 is terrible. In the number 8 spot, this book is missing its dust jacket, so I eventually need to get a copy with it, but it is The Host by Stephanie Meyer. This is a standalone novel. It was supposed to be its own series, but it works well enough as a standalone novel that if she decides to never continue it, I'm okay with that. I would like a series. This follows the story of Wanderer, who is part of an alien race that has captured Earth. They are parasites who possess humans, and Wanderer ends up falling in love with humanity as they were and gets in this love triangle, and oh, it's so good. The movie does not do it justice. There's whole characters and plot points that are missing. Again, it's a huge book, but I love it to death. I need to reread it eventually. Number 7. You guys should have seen this in my last haul, but it is The Gladiator by Carla Capshaw. This is one of the few romances that I've read, and the one that I've enjoyed the most. It is phenomenal. It follows the story of Pelonia, who is a Christian back in the height of the Roman oppression of Christianity before the Roman emperor declares himself Christian. She is sold by her uncle and is purchased by a gladiator, Karos. They fall in love. Because it's from the love-inspired line from Steeple Hill, that means that there is no sex, there is nothing that should offend almost any religion. So if you are like me and you want romance, but you want romance for the romance, not romance for the sex, this is for you. It is the best romance me and my bestie LA Knight have ever read. We love this to death. I love that. Number 6 is another standalone novel, and it is Heart's Blood by Juliet Morelli. Heart's Blood is labeled as part of a series, but there's been nothing else from it. It is a fairy tale retelling of Beauty and the Beast. Katrin heads to this castle that is declared as cursed and is run by the Lord Anluin. Anluin? I don't know, it's Celtic. I'm probably botching it. But she and Anluin meet, and she becomes his scribe, and they start a romance, and blah, 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 you know. It's Beauty and the Beast. I really enjoy it. It's the best Beauty and the Beast retelling that I've read so far. Juliet Morelli is awesome. I enjoyed it. I finally got my hands on it. Thank you, Raven, so much for buying it for me as a very belated Christmas gift. Number 5 is a series that you've probably heard of, and I have a review for this, so I'll link it down in the doobly-doo, but it is the Anita Blake Vampire Hunter series by Laurel K. Hamilton. I have only read the first 3 books, Guilty Pleasures, The Laughing Corpse, and Circus of the Damned. I've enjoyed them, especially Guilty Pleasures. So far, it's the best. The Laughing Corpse is nice and creepy and has one of the creepiest antagonists, like, ever. She's really scary. I've mentioned, like, the scariest place in any book that I've read so far is Senorita Dominga's basement. Oh. But I really enjoyed it. I love Anita. She's snarky, she's sarcastic, she's badass, she's younger than me and has her life together much better. And despite what the images may make it seem, there isn't anything really racy in it so far. It does get racy and have a lot more sex After book 7, I don't know exactly when. I've only read the first 3. There's nothing in them so far that really has offended me. It's just that it's a little bit scary and a little graphic and gross. Number 4 is another book duology that Raven bought for me that I'm very happy to own. I have read this so many times that my hardback copy of the first book fell apart. And my friend Megan has it now, but yeah, the spine's cracking. I'm like, are you sure you want it? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, okay. But it's Exile's Valor and Exile's Honor, the Exile duology by Mercedes Lackey in her Valdemar universe. I love Albrecht. He is so awesome. He is so badass. He is hilarious to read. He's really religious, which brings a breath of fresh air out of fantasies where there's like no religion or whatever. He stays true to his values. He has a strong sense of honor. He is a badass fighter. I love Albrecht. Number 3, I have talked about this series a gazillion times, but it is the Seven Waters series by Juliet Morelli. This is book 1, Daughter of the Forest. It's actually a fairy tale retelling of the Seven Swan Brothers, which is a version of the Three Ravens. Sorsha is this girl who's grown up kind of wild. Her father hasn't been in her life. Her mother died only a few hours after she was born, and then her father randomly remarries to a sorceress who tricks him and curses the household and curses her brothers and changes them into swans. And so Sorsha has to work with the local fae in order to save her brothers. This is awesome. She taught me that you should be proud of yourself, your heritage, and to be strong. All the other female characters in the Seven Waters clans are strong because Sorsha set the tone of being herself, not necessarily what the lady back in medieval times is, just by loving who you are, loving what you do, and not being afraid to go after it. And then I don't have a number 2 because I have 2 number 1s. No surprise, these are my favorite series of all time. So the first one I want to talk about is the Black Jewels series by Anne Bishop. There are 9 books in this series. I've read all of them a bazillion times. For #Yearathon, I'm in the middle of rereading Queen of the Darkness and then another one that's not in here. I just love this series. This is a dark fantasy. It follows the story of 3 men, Damon, Saitin, and Lucivar. And yes, I'm mispronouncing the second one. I'm not going to pronounce it the way that it's supposed to be pronounced. Who are all waiting for the greatest queen of the blood, their people, to arrive, and she does. And her name is Janelle Angeline, and she is a little girl. Already, at the age of 7, has people trying to kill her. They have to combine their forces to help her free the blood and remove the taint among their people. I love this series. I love this series. It is well written. It's got scenes that are hilarious, even though it has them fighting to try to destroy this taint, and they're on the verge of a war, and all these horrible things are going on. There's still scenes where a wolf is farting, and the girl who has to sleep with the wolf is so angry that she is storming through the hall where they live in her pajamas, yelling like, why do I have to have a stupid farting wolf in my bed? This has me crying. I'm laughing so hard, and then a few pages later, I end up crying because of how sad the scenes are. It's just beautifully done. I love it. And my number 1, obviously, y'all should know what it is. It's The Lord of the Rings and The Silmarillion. I'm not talking about The Hobbit. That's a middle grade book. But I love Middle-earth. I love J.R.R. Tolkien's writing. I love the story of the fact that in The Lord of the Rings, these hobbits, these little short hobbits that look like children, have to leave their very soft lives in order to save the world, because if they don't, the world will fall. It's got great lines such as, even the smallest person can change the course of the future, and oh, I love it. And then the Silmarillion is the history of Middle-earth, which has been expanded into a 14 or 15 book series, counting this one, but this is all of them squashed together. But it's got amazing stories such as Fingolfin versus Morgoth. Oh, one of my favorites. Arendil in The Lord of the Hawks versus a dragon the size of New York City who, when he fell, he landed on, I think it's 2 volcanoes and smashed them with his butt because he's so big. I mean, and he killed it. 1 elf and several hawks killed a dragon that big. They were smaller than his eye. I mean, oh my gosh, it's so amazing. I love Tolkien. I love Middle-earth. I love the stories. I can't get enough. And I finally purchased some of the History of Middle-earth, which this is the prequel to it, basically, because it's all the history of Middle-earth in one. I can't wait to start that. Oh, yes. is definitely number one. Alright, so those are the 10 adult books that I love to death. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to see more. Every Friday is a book review, even though I have no clue what I'm going to do Friday. So stay tuned for that. I don't know what's going to happen on Friday. Good luck with your reading. I hope you give these adult books a try, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye! Even though mine is surviving by lots of tape, someone ripped out the center part and ruined the spine. Idiots. And that is Heart's Blood by Juliet Morelli. Juliet? I should probably get some more water, but I don't want it. It is Heart's Blood, but I lost it. Beauty and the Beast. And I love the cover is teal. I don't know why. I love that. It is the I don't even remember what I was saying because my phone just fell 20 times. The Seven Waters. The Black Jewel series by Anne Bishop. Why do I want to say Seven Waters by Juliet Morelli? I already did that. There are 7 books in the series. There are 9. It's hot. Summer's here. I hate summer. And then my it's got I'm sorry, my dad just came home. Oh my goodness, this is huge. Ooh, adult books are big. Adult books are big. Okay, that's enough poses of different smiles. What the fuck?